Hi everyone, welcome to the Codecraft series of Python programming, and in this video we are going to focus on functions, user defined functions of Python programming language. So before diving into the video, let me introduce myself. I am Akila Rajini from IT department of Kamaraj College of Engineering and Technology. So what a function is? Function is nothing but it is a part of a program and it includes block of statements which accomplishes a particular task, and the code that is replicated in a program can be placed in a single module or a function, and it can be called anywhere and any number of times, and we need to implement the function call in order to repeatedly invoke that function or do the replication of same block of statements. So functions are nothing, they include the block of statements which accomplishes a single task. So the benefits of using function, we have three benefits. The most significant benefits of using a function in a program is code debugging, which is made easy when we go for using such modularity over a programming language. So modularity in the sense it refers to the function. So what is code debugging? Debugging is nothing but the diagnostic of error. Finding out and correcting the error is called as debugging. So the process of locating an error in a code will be made easier by applying modularity in our programs, and that is function. So the next important benefit of using function is code reusability. So we need not go for writing the replication of code again and again in the same program, just we need to write a function and we have to invoke wherever necessary. So that is what we call it as code reusability and code readability. So as a whole, when we go for developing an application, we will be having lot of separate functions, each one accomplishing a particular task. So even a layman can understand the module in the application by just having a glance through the application program. So it increases the readability of your code. So these three are the benefits of using function. So code debugging, it is easy for diagnostic of error, then the reusability of code, it will be increased, and the readability of code, again it will be increased by the use of functions. So what are the types of functions available in Python programming language? So basically we have four different types of user functions. First one is user defined function, next one is built-in functions, and the third one is lambda function, and finally we have a recursive function which is available in all the programming languages. User defined functions are nothing but they are defined by the developer or the developer of the applications. They will be writing their own function. So that is called as user defined function. And next we have the built-in or predefined function which is already available in the Python programming languages and language. And next we go for lambda function. It is a single line function and it is called as anonymous function, a function without a name, and it can be a single line, that is lambda function. And then the recursion is nothing but if a function calls itself, then it is called as a recursive function. So these are the four different types of functions that we have in Python programming language. And now we are going to focus our attention towards the user defined function. So user defined functions, they are developed by the developer, they are defined by the developer, and this is how a function will be. So the first portion is execution of main program. It will execute or it will invoke the function just by function call. So this one is the function call, and the control will be directly transferred to the function, which is the second portion. The execution gets transferred to the calculate sum function. Okay, the control will be transferred to the function, defined function, right. So on getting inside the function, the block of statement inside the function, it gets executed, right. And after the execution of that function, when the function body gets executed, it returns to the main program again, right. So this is how the function gets invoked, right. So the function execution begins with the function invocation in the main program, the control will be transferred to the function definition, and there it will be executing the block of statements, and again it will be, the control will be transferred to the next statement of function call or function invocation. This is how the user defined function gets executed. So, next we are going to see the syntax of defining a user defined function. So, we have a keyword def, the function name, the parameters. The parameters are nothing but the input that we are going to pass on to the function, and the block of statements. The final statement of your function will be return statement. It returns the output to the function invocation, and we have certain rule to be followed while mentioning or defining the function name. It applies the same rule of identifiers. It can begin with an alphabet, and you can use the special character of underscore, and it can be followed by alphabets or digits, and then reserved words or the keywords must not be used as function name. So, this is how the function definition will be. Next we go with an example. So, we have a simple Python function. It starts with def keyword and function name is this function, and then since it is the beginning point, we have the colon indicator and it is indented, and we have a simple print statement within this function. And this type of function is called as void function. It implies the function does not have any return, it does not produces any output to the function invocation. This type of function is called as void function. Next, how to invoke a function. The syntax for invoking a function is function name with arguments, and we have an example for that. Already in the previous slide, we have defined a function with the name function. Just for calling that, we have to use the function name of. The output of the previous program, previous function, it will be displaying welcome to GFG. So, it displays the output. This is a simple example. Next we go for another example with a Python function having argument as input. So, the first statement is print of is prime of. The function name is prime. It determines whether the given number is prime or not. So, the output of the function will be either true or false. So, the input parameter or argument that we are passing is 78 and 79. So, the function is being invoked twice with two different inputs. So, the function is defined as, whenever we go for giving the input as n, it will be checking whether if it is 2 or 3. If n is 2 or 3, it returns true, because 2 and 3 are prime numbers, and otherwise we are going to check whether it is divisible by 0 or it is 1. If it is 1 or if it is a divisor of 2, then automatically it is not a prime number, so it returns false. Otherwise, we have something else, some other logic to be followed in order to determine whether it is a prime or not. So, r is equal to 3. So, we are going to check the r square, that is 3 square less than n. How much times these loop need to be iterated? So, we are going on for checking whether it is a divisible by 3, 5, 7, 9, etc. right. So, after all the completion of this loop, it returns true, saying that the given number is prime. So, this is a simple example to determine whether the number is prime or not, and this is an example for user defined function. And in this function, we have a return value, it returns a boolean value either true or false. So, this type of function is referred to as fruitful function. Next, we have some example which the most significant part of Python programming language. In the C language, we can return only one value as output for a function, but in Python language, you can return an expression or multiple values can be returned as an output for a particular function. For that, I have given you an example. So, we have the function as swap, which will be swapping two numbers, and after that those two numbers are returned as output. So, this is a simple example which performs the swapping and it returns x and y. So, this is the function call and we have given the main program for that. And next one we are going to focus on predefined function. Just a few predefined functions, most frequently used predefined function or built-in functions of Python programming have been listed. So, the first one is max, which finds the maximum of two numbers, min, which finds the minimum or smallest number among these two numbers, len, it finds the length of a particular string, range, it starts with the initial value 2 and it ends with 8 and it gets incremented by 1. So, we have the value 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 up to 7, n minus 1 it gets repeated. Next we have another function round off. So, it will be sealing the value, then CHR of it will be returning the character representation or ASCII representation for the code that you are giving. Then float, it will be giving the float value of a particular integer. Int, it will be returning the integer value of a floating point number. Power, it will be calculating the power of x comma y. Type, it will be determining whether the type of object that we are using. 5.6, since it is a floating point number, it returns the data type as float. So, similar, and even the input functions, they are predefined functions of Python programming language. Next we go for anonymous function, the third type of function. Anonymous functions are nothing but they are nameless and we have to use the keyword lambda, and it is, you have to remember that it is a single line function. So, the function will be represented with the variable name, okay, the function object that accepts and stores the result of an expression. It is an object which will be returning the function, entire function will be stored in the variable. Then we have the keyword lambda, then the arguments are given. So, now in this example we have a single argument and it is represented by a. So, what are the single line function calculates this? It calculates the square of a single variable, that is a. So, this is another example for anonymous function. So, how the function gets called? Print of f of 5. So, f, it will be calling this lambda function and the argument is 5. So, we will be getting the output as 25. So, what are the takeaways from this presentation? So, what is a function? Function is nothing but it is a block of code. So, what is the benefit of using function? It improves the readability, reusability and easy debugging. Then the parameters or arguments. The parameters or arguments are nothing but they are the input given to the function. So, we have three different types of arguments: default, name, positional and variable length arguments, which will be followed in next videos. Next, return. The function in the Python programming languages, it can return more number of expressions or variables as output from the user defined function. And the type of function, we have 4 different type of functions: user defined function, predefined, anonymous function, as well as we have the recursive function, which will be followed in next videos. So, these are the key takeaways from this presentation. So, functions are nothing but they are the block of statements which can be replicated just by the function call. So, thank you.